Hi there and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's dive into today's top stories. Pundit says 22-year-old Arsenal player is now one of the Premier League's best players. A lot has been made about Bukayo Saka and the term world class in the last week, and Clinton Morrison has now had his say on the matter. Saka is flying for Arsenal this season, but after Rio Ferdinand suggested he wasn't quite at the world class level just yet, it's been a topic of debate. The England winger has been in excellent form all season long for the Gunners, and ahead of a trip to bottom side Sheffield United tonight, Saka will be hoping there is even more goals and assists in it for him. However, while he might be in the form of his life and on course to potentially lead Arsenal to the title, Pundit Clinton Morrison believes that as of now, Saka is not quite in his own world-class category. He said, I think world class is more than that. I think he is getting to that potential to be there. World class is what I put Messi at when he was in his prime. My definition of world class is totally different. Saka is getting to that level. I think he's been outstanding to be fair, but I don't think he is world class yet. But he is one of the best players there in the Premier League this season. While it's always nice to get praise, Saka will not be bothered whether people put him in their world-class categories or not. The fact of the matter at the moment is that he is playing some superb football and Arsenal are benefiting massively from his form. England too have got one of the best wide forwards in the world on their hands, and heading into the Euros, Gareth Southgate knows he has one of the world's best in the squad. Saka will simply keep going about his business, a humble player anyway. The Englishman will ignore the noise and simply crack on with trying to win trophies for the Gunners. Gilberto Silva wants to see 22-year-old Arsenal player step up. Gilberto Silva wants to see Gabriel Martinelli step up and provide more often for Arsenal in the final third. Gabriel Martinelli hasn't exactly hit the heights many expected of him this season. The 22-year-old managed 15 goals and 5 assists in the Premier League last term as Arsenal narrowly missed out on the title. Mikel Arteta's men are once again in the mix and look a more well-rounded side this time around, but Martinelli's productivity in the final third has dropped off significantly as he's managed just 5 goals and 3 assists in the league so far. And former Arsenal midfielder Gilberto Silva believes the winger needs to step up in this regard. Silva told Shots that while Martinelli is performing well for Arsenal, he feels the winger needs to score more often. He said, Martinelli is doing well, but I believe he is able to produce more, especially to score more. Sometimes, if you just rely on your striker, it's not going to be enough to win the league. The other players need to score, like Martinelli, Odegaard, some other players. They need to work together. Bukayo Saka has been Arsenal's main man in the final third this term, with his teammates around him struggling to provide as frequently. That is certainly a criticism that has already been aimed at Martinelli this season, as well as the likes of Gabriel Jesus and Edin Ketaya. Martinelli remains an integral part of Arteta's side, and his recent performances have been encouraging. But if he wishes to be considered among the world's best wingers, he needs to start impacting games in the final third regularly. Saka is doing exactly that at the moment, and if Martinelli can recapture last season's form in front of goal, it would be a huge boost for Arteta ahead of the run-in for the title. Mikel Arteta says Arsenal have just received a huge boost in a Premier League title race. Mikel Arteta claims the return of Thomas Partey could be really big for Arsenal in the Premier League title race. Thomas Partey has spent the majority of the campaign on the sidelines due to groin and hamstring injuries. The 30-year-old has recently returned to training following a hamstring issue which has kept him out since November. Partey's persistent struggles with his fitness have been a common theme during his time at the Emirates Stadium, and while Mikel Arteta's side have dealt with his absence this time around due to Declan Rice's impact, the Arsenal boss is excited by the idea of the duo linking up in midfield once again. Speaking to the Evening Standard, Arteta was asked if Rice could perform at an even higher level with Partey back in midfield. He said, "For sure, I will have to see that chemistry on the pitch and those qualities and the things we have to treat around to make sure they play to their strength and make each other better. But I think that will be a very powerful midfield. I think they only played in the Community Shield together in midfield. That tells you how much we have missed Thomas to play the whole season, and a player like him who has not played much with us, the impact he can have for the next 3 months can be really big." Partey was previously a key man under Arteta, but his injury has had less of an impact on the Gunners due to Rice's arrival last summer. The Ghanaian has managed just 5 appearances in all competitions this term. Despite his obvious issues with persistent injuries, having Partey back for the business end of the season could be huge for Arteta. It will hand the Spaniard another top quality option in midfield, as well as the possibility of playing him alongside Rice in tough away games. Arsenal's phenomenal player is really likely to leave this summer. Mohamed Elneny is coming towards the end of his Arsenal career. The Egyptian has been a core member of this squad for almost 10 years at this point, but given the Gunners' improvement in recent years, he's slipped down the pecking order. Elneny has barely played this season, and with his contract up in the summer, it looks like he will be on his way at the end of the season. Speaking on Inside Arsenal, James Bange has been discussing Elneny's situation and Arsenal's midfield, and he says that it's almost certain that the 31-year-old will be on his way out of Arsenal this summer. Bange shared what he knows about the phenomenal midfielder. He said, "I think you have to keep Jorginho. We know that Elneny is almost certainly off this summer. I think whether Arsenal get interest in Partey, we will see, but you can't plan around Thomas Partey. If he stays, maybe it means you can't go and buy another midfielder this summer. Maybe you can. It depends on the wages, and it depends on what Jorginho wants. He is entitled to a good contract considering his form." In all honesty, this departure has been more than a year in the making. Let's not forget, Elneny was probably on his way to being released last summer, but Arsenal extended the midfielder's contract after his injury in order to not leave him hung out to dry after so many years of good service. The sad reality is that Elneny probably isn't good enough to play for Arsenal anymore, and he is best off seeing out the final years of his career at a club where he is likely to play every single week and enjoy his football. West Ham could move to sign £120,000 a week goalkeeper. West Ham United might be tempted to get involved in the race for Arsenal goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdell this summer. That's according to Ben Jacobs, who states that the England international may be an option for the Hammers ahead of the new season if he decides to leave North London this summer. Ramsdell has lost his starting position at Arsenal to David Raya and is not expected to regain it anytime soon. Therefore, the 25-year-old may decide to leave in search of more minutes, and West Ham could make a move for the goalkeeper. Alphonse Areola has been heavily relied upon in the league by David Moyes during the current campaign, with Fabianski getting minutes in Europe. The Frenchman has been fantastic for the London club, but Ramsdell would be considered an upgrade. Ben Jacobs said the following: "I think that West Ham could be an option for Ramsdell. Even though Areola has had a very good season, he is in his early 30s. Ramsdell is a bit younger. They might be tempted, and there will definitely be some European interest as well if Ramsdell does choose to move abroad, but his preference is to stay in the Premier League. That's why I think that something might develop with West Ham. We'll have to wait and see. Of course, 30, 31, 32 is not necessarily as old compared to a player for a goalkeeper, and that's why West Ham are kind of happy enough with Areola and Fabianski. Ramsdell would be a great addition to the West Ham squad and could be open to a move, although he may have to reduce the £120,000 a week wages he is currently on at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal told they will have to pay £86 million if they want to sign outstanding striker this summer. Fabrizio Romano has now been providing details on Mikel Arteta's search for a new Arsenal striker this coming summer. A new name has surfaced of late, and Fabrizio Romano has now confirmed that Arsenal are scouting Victor Gores ahead of the summer. The Sporting Lisbon striker has now scored a remarkable 32 goals in all competitions since trading Coventry City for Portugal this season. And speaking on the Here We Go podcast, Romano confirmed that any move to Arsenal wouldn't come cheap. Romano said that any club that wants to sign Gyökeres in the off-season will have to pay the striker's release clause. Sporting simply won't settle for less. He explained, "Yes, I think there will be movement. This is the feeling. There is a release clause into the contract of Victor Gores, and it is €100 million. So this is the price." Even when in January we had rumors about English clubs moving around Gyökeres, the message from Sporting was very clear: the release clause or nothing. We know how tough it is to negotiate with Portuguese clubs. We all remember what happened, for example, with Enzo Fernandez to Chelsea, Pedro Porro to Tottenham. You have to pay the release clause until the end of the negotiation. They will not give up, so this is how they negotiate in Portugal. This is also likely for the Victor Gyökeres deal. Arsenal scouts were in attendance to follow Victor Gores, it is true, but there are also other clubs in the race. Of course, given Fabrizio Romano's words, it has to be questioned if a deal for Gyökeres would represent a good value for Arsenal this summer. As mentioned, Arsenal need a player who is ready to shine immediately, someone who can force Gabriel Jesus out wide on occasion, and the step up from life in Portugal would still be a considerable one for the Swede, even if he is an outstanding talent. Manchester United join Arsenal and Chelsea in race for ambitious transfer. Manchester United are reportedly now among the numerous big-name suitors pursuing the potential transfer of Napoli striker Victor Osimhen ahead of the summer. The Nigeria international has established himself as one of the finest attacking players in Europe in recent times with his strong performances in Serie A, and it would be exciting to see what he could do in the Premier League. According to The Independent, Man United are now alongside Arsenal and Chelsea as a Premier League-based clubs eyeing up Osimhen in an ambitious move this summer, though these clubs also look set to face competition from Paris Saint-Germain. It would be some statement from the new Red Devils ownership to get a signing like this through the door early on, but one imagines Champions League qualification could be crucial. That could be an issue for Chelsea as well, with them and United not the forces of the game that they used to be. Osimhen may well be lured by these big names, and they both obviously have the money to throw at the 25-year-old. That might not be as easy for Arsenal, who are surely going to be in Europe's top club competition again next season. Still, the Gunners look a more appealing project right now, and they also look in need of a clinical finisher in their squad to complete what is an otherwise very strong. Interestingly, United might also struggle to fit Osimhen in alongside exciting young forward Rasmus Højlund, who has surely shown that he deserves to continue as first choice for the foreseeable future. Chelsea need a striker most after such a disastrous campaign, but it's precisely the fact that they are in mid-table that perhaps means they are going to find it hard to convince the player to choose them. As we wrap up today's Arsenal news, remember to stay tuned for daily updates right here on the channel. Don't miss out on the latest updates, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a like if you found this information valuable. Your support means the world to us. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.